Hello everyone, my name is Iulia Elena Todorescu and I will present the Android webinar for today for you. Thank you for joining also the Hardcore Entrepreneur Competition, and let's see what we can learn today. I will start sharing my screen in the meantime, and I also close my camera. 1 second. Okay, so we will start with a short presentation about actually what Android means, since it's very used. There are many multiple applications developed along the time, and it's very easy to actually code them. So I totally recommend that you start working with them. Let's start with some fun facts about the Android, meaning the Android is an operating system used on any, let's say, portable device like phone or tablet. You can even do that now on smart watches and also smart TVs, everything that has actually a screen. And it's actually worldwide use. So you'll see that there are multiple applications built around the world and also used in every phone possible. Why actually we will learn today about Android development? Why is it so useful? Well, actually, they're really flexible and really easy to build and also run. Basically, you can create your own apps. It depends on what you want actually from the app to do. You'll see that's very easy, and we'll also do a short, let's say, explanation about some app at the end of it. It can also solve some real problems if you want to, like, I don't know, mathematical formulations, computations, anything, or if it is can be useful for school or anything else, finding the weather, you will see. And you can learn the programming in a practical way because it's way easier to understand from an app how it works and how actually it can display something really meaningful for you rather than just print something on the terminal and just see some numbers. So you will see how it goes because it's really fun. And based on that, you have some potential career opportunities because now actually it's more used in the career field rather than just something technical and not that applicative. And what you will learn today, first, how to install the Android IDE, what are the basics behind, because of course you will install the app in which you're going to build and write some code, the funniest part of a programmer, but you also need to learn the logic behind and how can you build your own programming skills based on that. And also some first steps into building your own Android application. You'll see that it will be something really fun and really easy to understand. So you don't have to, you don't need to be scared. It will be really easy and really funny. So first, you install the Android. You have here the link. I think it will be also provided to you and also the source code. So you can also try it at home. And basically, you can install the IDE specifically for any operating system. I'm operating on the macOS M1 Pro. It really works, so you don't have to worry about that. That maybe building an Android application might not run. You'll see why, because basically there are two independent components. And so we start by, let's say, downloading the IDE. And then you select your own version of Android. In this case, for me, it appeared only for the macOS, rather for different CPUs. And we will continue forward. And maybe it can be really useful. Okay. Now, first look at the Android Studio, and don't worry, it isn't that complex as it looks like. It's really easy. It has a logic behind, so you'll see that you don't have to worry about that. So we have the programming part, the way actually where you can code different functions. You can import different libraries. You can have predefined functionalities that you just have to access or maybe override. And you'll see why. The project structure, which will be actually found in the left side as any other programming project structure looks like on an editor, whatever application you are building up. And based on that, it is organized in 3 different stages that you have to keep in mind from now on. And of course, the preview, the UI, it's like a fake phone, if we must underline the part with fake, because it runs actually its own operating system, and it has its own widgets and other parts. Basically, it's a component inside of your computer that you don't have to actually integrate outside or connect it. You can do that. You'll see that it works, but it's way more complex now because of the advancement of technologies and some security protocols. Now, we will start with the basics. So you have seen here that we will start with the structure, how actually the projects are organized. Meaning, it has a 3-level stage structure when you build actually the app. Meaning, you have the first part with the manifest. This is the brain, the core of the app, the one that tells the Android what are the screens supposed to do, what are the other elements, what are the, let's say, actions of the other elements, how they are connected. And also what are the permissions, because some of the apps might request permission for camera or for internet or for location. Continuing forward, we have the logic of the app. You can see here that there are some known elements that maybe you have found out the programming languages. Well, we have Java, which is classic programming language used from the beginning, the Android Studio. And we also have Kotlin. They are kind of interconnected. Kotlin is mostly, let's say, an easier version or like a modern version and easier to use compared to Java. That is mostly used nowadays while building Android applications. And they're organized in different packages. Well, you can see here that it already has the name of the app that we're going to build today. And you'll see how actually it was organized based on classes. Here, the main activities, meaning the screens and their functionalities and how they're interconnected. This is the basic code that gives the functionalities while pressing buttons or doing something, let's say, actionable. And then we have the last part, which are the resources. And they're organized in different folders based on however you want to organize your app. You have the layout in the resources, which includes the XML files. The XML files are, let's say, the ones that include the UI, how you want to design the specific screens in which you're going to do the specific activities with your with the, let's say, activity classes. And based on that, you build the design, you organize the tabs, the elements in the, you'll see that actually there is a big rectangle screen that includes multiple components, each one having its own task and also design. And there are also drawable elements, which are the images or icons or anything that it is predefined as picture file that can be added independently. And it must be called out in the functionalities part. As for the values or MIP maps, any other, let's say, folders, they include other elements like colors or text, depending on how you want to personalize it, if you want to go more advanced. But in this case, we're going to reduce ourselves to something more, let's say, simple. And for beginning stuff, it's up to you if you want to continue further with something complex. And then for as a conclusion, let's say out of these 3 big stages, we have the manifest, which is the app's configuration, the core, the one that dictates how the other screens or functionalities are connected and what are their tasks. Then we have the logics behind that are written either in Java or Kotlin. And then we have the resources, which are the elements that are called out for the logics until the core. It's better that actually I can show that to you in a predefined, let's say, I can build a new project. So the idea is that I already have Android Studio installed. And in most of the cases, it's better that you start with something empty. It has already included other templates in which you can build. You can here, for example, so besides phone or tablet, which kind of have the similar functionalities, you can have the one for watches or television or even car, depending on what smart device, it doesn't depend on the dimension, you have and what are the included operating systems. But let's say we choose for the phone and tablet, and it's better that you have the empty views activity. And I totally recommend that for the first, let's say, for your first stages as Android developers, you use, I mean, this is up to you, however you want to choose the name. But when you choose the language, before you dig in with Kotlin, which might be a little bit overwhelming, and since you're at the beginning stages of programming, it's better that you choose Java because it's classic. It's more, it can be a little bit overwhelming or complex, but it includes all of the elements such that when you go further with Kotlin, you'll see that everything is more simplified. Also, as for the APIs that you want to choose in Android is a problem with backward compatibility, meaning once it passes some, let's say, some, I'm not numbers, some versions of the app, of the specific device, at some point they might be very much advanced, and the apps can be compatible no more with the specific devices. It happened multiple times. They are not upgraded anymore. There is no update, and in that point they remain the same version, and the apps, while the specific versions for Android Advanced, they have different packages, different libraries, and this is why it is called not backward compatibility, because it's not compatible anymore with what are the new versions, modern functionalities. So, I mean, as a basic, it's better that you use the minimum SDK. You see actually what SDK is, the standard development kit that is provided by Android, and it includes the most important parts, libraries, functionalities, everything can be found there. And I mean, it's recommended right now that you use Kotlin as the build configuration language. It doesn't mean that your language will be mandatory Kotlin. It's still oriented on Java. I used to use the Groovy DSL, the build Gradle basic, but because it helps you to understand also how the processes behind the specific app operate. And yeah, sometimes the SDK is not, or the JDK is not well configured in the beginning, but that's just for the first stages. And basically, this is your own project structure that you can start just to try to play with. So I just wanted to show you how actually an app looks like from the beginning when you start the project, and see that actually is not that complicated at first. And I will send you the other functionalities right away. But let's continue forward with what you can find here, and then we can like switch from one point to another and see how we can do it more practical. Okay, so I have showed you that you have the project structure, you have the code editor, you'll see what you can code in here, basically every file that you find here. But you also have the preview UI. What does it mean? This is accessed through the AVD, which is the Android virtual device. It's like a fake phone, as I have told you in the beginning of this webinar. It has the configuration that defines any characteristics or any smart device that you have. An Android phone, tablet, watch, basically wear operating system, Android TV, or automotive, any car that has some smart devices. And you can build your own apps based on that. And this is a simulation of them in the Android emulator. So what does it mean? I have right here actually the device manager. And you can choose any type of phone that can be, depending on the version, that can be used in what app you want to build. I have already predefined some, let's say, devices, the Pixel XL, that actually worked for me over a lot of years. And it's already running here because you can start them from here and you'll see that it works. And basically you have your own phone. It can be the same phone that you can find it in a physical form. It has its own operating system, its own predefined apps that come with it, connection to the internet if it's the case, any other functionality that actually you'll find in a normal phone. Why it is more useful? Because basically you can build your own apps, you can run them, and if something crashes, you're not going to affect the hardware or any build that the app has, that the phone has inside its software. And as you can see, it acts like a normal phone. What I was telling you about, let's say, physical devices, phones that you can actually connect, you can do that through, in the case, it can happen using special wiring, USB, having USB, connect them with your computer. But the idea is with the new configurations and security protocols, actually, it's kind of hard to manipulate the memory and work with the apps inside of a literally physical phone. And it might request for you to have a developer mode activated. In the past, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, it was possible, but now I'm not sure you can modify everything you want from the phone anymore. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. And I will continue forward. So basically, any Android device, if you want to create an app, you can do that, and you can, let's say, post it after that on the store dedicated for apps that can other people use. What more? When you want to install your own Android Studio, you have some hardware requirements that you have to keep in mind. So you can use any operating system globally used, like Windows, macOS, or Linux. You have minimum requirements for memory and for how your CPU should work. And also the fact that, yes, you kind of need RAM because the emulator here occupies some memory from your computer because it has to build its own operating system. So it's a component inside of your computer, and it's needed for virtualization. And some free space because you don't know how many apps you want to build out, how many functionalities you want from your app to do. Let's give an example. Instagram occupies a lot of memory in the case of you just running it as a client user. But what happens as a developer if you want to access servers or anything else? So of course you need a lot of free space. Then we have software requirements. So basically you have to, when you install the app, the Android Studio IDE, you have the main tool of it. And then you have the SDK. So you saw the name of it back in the other slides. Basically, they already come with with the tool. So all of the elements, the libraries, all the packages that are included in the SDK come as long as the Android still exists. And then you have also the emulator, which, as I have presented to you, is created inside the Android Studio, and it runs by itself. At some point, there might be some problems, but there are several ways to restart it or maybe debug its problems if it's the case. Okay, so it was in the beginning stages of how I have showed you how to install the exe in the case of Windows app, how it will start installing its own packages and how it's downloaded. In the end, you just have to keep to the standard elements. You don't need to modify anything. You're not going to go, let's say, advanced. You just need basic elements, components to work with. And this is how actually the app, the IDE will look like, and how you can actually create some plugins, or maybe if you want to customize it, personalize it. And again, when you create projects, I have showed you actually how it looks like when you want to create some projects. Basically here, you can choose, you can import other ones based on predefined projects that you have, so you don't lose anything. Some modules, if you want to link some elements, you have anything that an IDE can have the bare minimum. And then, or repositories, if you want to upload it on GitHub, so no need to do other steps for that. Then we start with the Android basics, what you should know. So you have seen how the project structure looks like, but you need to understand actually what the app does behind, how it is managed, and what are the key elements that you should have in your mind. So let's say we have a screen, any type of screen, and you can perform any other activities like touching the screen. So basically you interact with the UI, the user interface that it was already predefined when you have coded that app. And based on that, the UI sends the information back in the to the component, and it has some specific functionalities based on whatever you press, how you scroll maybe, or how you slide. So you will see that actually it has also some key logics functionalities that they're very easy to also remember if you don't remember a function. And based on that, it will appear on screen. So anything that you do, it is, let's say, it is understood by the device behind through some machine code. And based on that, it will give the decision and what it will show, what it will appear on the screen. And some languages and frameworks that you should remember from this webinar at least. You already have met Java and Kotlin. So Java is the application logic behind. It's the one that actually how it was at the start of Android. And it's very easy to use because it already includes some functionalities and also classes that should be still kept in mind. And it's the basic, the base way to understand actually how programming works on, let's say, applicative ways or applicative systems. Then we have Kotlin, which is the modern language, the next next era of Java, let's say. XML, which helps you in the design of the UI. If you have studied, for example, web programming, you have those let's say programming languages that help you in designing, in showing the color, or what is the dimension, how can it be arranged in a specific screen. The Android SDK, the software development kit that has the libraries, and the Jetpack, which is the modern way of using the collection of libraries in most cases today. And then we have types of Android apps. We have native apps that are built directly for Android. I have given you an example with the Instagram or maybe WhatsApp. They are built specifically for this app, for these operating systems. After that, were extended to other operating systems, such that they'll be more inclusive. They have the best performance and full access to devices features. If you remember, you were asked when you were using these kind of apps to give permission to the internet, to the location, in some cases, to pictures. And basically they are native built such that they won't have some problems with bugs. That's why they're aligned perfectly with the software of the specific device. And as for, let's say, the Instagram, in this case, you might find that okay, how can I build this app, and how can it show, for example, my profile, or how can I do the scroll? Well, basically, when you do the scroll, and you see that in some cases you can also build your own if you want. There's a screen that recharges multiple times, and it just erases the element in that already passed, such that it can contribute to the memory of the next screen that appears from down to up. It's more, let's say, efficient in this case, and it doesn't occupy that much memory when you're also using the internet and downloading the content. And so we have this case, there are multiple screens that appear. So besides the scroll part, you also have the one in which you can see the profile or your profile. It is what the logic behind and how the core of the app can give the decisions to go from one part to another. And then we have the web apps, which are websites that look like apps, but they don't need to be downloaded. You don't need to occupy memory for that. You just run it in the browser. There's no installation needed. It's already built with the specific web programming languages. So imagine that you open a website in Chrome and it already like inflates. So you don't need to download something for it to work. You can access the elements from the server, so on and so forth. And then we have the hybrid apps that are built once and can run on any Android or other operating systems like iOS, because this one is also included in any app development. You can see here emerging between using macOS to develop Android applications. So for the hybrid apps, you have a mix of web and native. Here you have by using React and Flutter. They have already predefined apps that can be built also while starting from here. Because when I create a new project, some of them can have already predefined, let's say, functionalities or modules that can be accessed using by these platforms. And the problem is that they're slightly lower in performance, meaning they can't access efficiently and optimize some modules. And at some point, it might take some time for the app to work. They're still at the beginning, since it's a hybrid app and it uses multiple resources, but is not native built. They don't have a clear stage to rely on. It's mostly running back and forth from one process to another. And we have arrived at a point where we will create an app. And before we do that, let me explain to you actually at first what happens when you create your own project in the beginning. So you have already here, as I have told you, I just started it. I just gave it a name and the package and what, how, that it has some standard predefined functions. I don't need to take anything from the beginning. And I have the main activity. Let's start actually from the beginning. I have the Android manifest. This is also from the name manifest. Actually, is the one that underlines and says from the beginning what is the core, which activity is important, which is not, how actually they are arranged, and it starts from main because this is the predefined key word that the core will understand to start with. You can put them actually in any order, any activity. But what is an activity? The activity is the screen. You can create multiple activities, meaning you can create multiple screens that can switch, and you're with the clear eye, you can't see it. Sometimes you can see that it switches very fast, but at some point you can see that it changes. So let's say that I have here the main activity, which will bring me here. This is the override function, the one, a specific function that is already overridden, because basically the term override comes from the fact that there are already existing specific abstract functions that they don't have a body, they don't have something to do. So actually you are riding over them. You can see here that the main activity that it started extends an app compat activity. It's already a module that has some specific functions like onCreate that I need, and I want to reuse them and maybe actually improve it. So I am creating, when I'm starting the app, it will appear on the screen, and I can either press it on the screen and it will inflate something, a screen. So I will press something on the screen of the phone, and then it will inflate something, a screen that I have already built up. So there are two different screens that you can perceive. And based on that, it will activate the XML one, which is found in the layout. The layout is basically the design of it. And in my case, sorry, this is a problem. I totally recommend that when you write, when you design it, it's not, it can be designed in two ways. Either you do it by coding, as you are working with XML files and its programming languages. Let's say that can help in the design, and they already have some predefined, let's say, variables. But in this case, I recommend that rather than just here you have free versions in which you can design them by arranging your own pictograms. You can either code it and see it how it happens and how you can preview them. But in this, I have a problem to show it. I don't know. It's an error. But in most of the cases, I just use the coding part. And as maybe in other programming languages, you could have seen that when it starts, it encompasses the main layout. So as it comes with the first part, when the project is created, it creates a constraint layout. It's the first page that has some elements that can be mandatory linked to. It's not that flexible. It's not much used. It's better that we use another type of layout, and you'll see what is the difference. Because when you create other elements, let's say a text, a title, or something that you add up on, it's very complicated to align them in such a way that they how is it called? To align them in such a way to be more flexible on the screen. So the screen might interpret it differently. The phone might interpret it differently when you want to arrange it. So you'll see that we can use other type of layout. But we start with the layouts. So this is how the first rectangle screen looks like. Then I have the main activity. I go back, I have created a design, and I want to give some functionalities. The predefined ones is that when you write your first programming, let's say, project, and to print something like "Hello World" on the screen. And these are some functions that actually just inflate once you start your own app. This one is related to how the Windows sets it up. They're already predefined. We're not going to use that one. They're kind of complicated. But the main things that you should consider is that when you have when you create when you use the onCreate, you have to use the specific element that points to the root, and it will give the decision to the core to create a specific screen. And next to it, it will set the view. The view is actually what you see on the screen as a preview, not with the logic behind. It's not hard-coded. It's the one that actually predefines as a design. And as you can see here, the specific function has some has to call a specific element that is found in the root, in the layout, and it will create, of course, this one. So keep in mind what names of the variables you have to use, because based on that, it's the compiler won't understand actually if you use other names or maybe you're using them wrong. So you can already find it here if I write it from the beginning. The idea will also help you fast way, so you don't need to memorize all of the elements at first. And so you have the activity main, and this is how a beginning stage of an app starts. And yes, we will wait a little. Okay, so you can see here a normal view. The screen is white because it's already predefined in here, if I see it correctly. Have the constraints that are set up to this such that the title will be perfectly aligned in the middle of it. The parent, it means, is the constraint layout, which is outside. So you can see that in the preview, you can see how they are linked to be equally aligned in the middle of the screen. That's why we have here parent. Parent means the one that is at the root. This one is the child of the layout in between. If you create other element, which can be, let's say, in the text view, it can be the child of the text view, and so on. But it depends on how you align them in the code. And here you also have the predefined hard-coded text, hello world, and the wrap content. Okay, so this is the normal preview. And if, for example, I am not closing it, and it's still running here, I can still open it. So the app is still running, it's still working, doesn't have any bugs, and I can open it whenever I want. And this is how you can also have your own apps installed on your phone multiple times, whenever you want. And what I forgot to also mention, keep that in mind when you have your package of the project. What elements you want to access, better that you have them as you can find them here. Keep the order of it and don't forget, because at some point the compiler won't understand. And then any other elements that are present in the Android. That's why I have told you that it's important to use the SDK and what actually is the main meaning of SDK. This one comes with the operating system. This one is related to the activity, meaning the screen. These are the core components that should be accessed. So every other package can be found and can be helpful, any other function based on what you want. So let's say I want to, I don't know, set the action bar. Let's say if I want to put an action bar or some views, I want to add something like a text in it or set a title. You have multiple functions already predefined. And continuing further, so I will stop this one because I have to launch the other app. I have told you that, 1 second. I have told you that, oh, it's already open here. So I already have a pre-built app for today in which I can show you the components of it, and maybe, I don't know, I will switch from one part to another to show you just the basics of what you should keep in mind when you're building your own apps. Meaning, let me show you how actually this app works, and I hope I don't have any crashes. We'll stay a little bit. It is a newsfeed app, meaning I have some titles that I can are already hard coded, and the idea is I'm listing this kind of titles with some news that happened, with something, any arbitrary, doesn't matter. Some details in which, when I'm pressing some parts in the screen, I can actually find some details related to the specific title, and it can also include some images. And also it includes some images if you want to make it more dynamic. And basically I can, we will wait a little bit more. So what does it do? So I have the list of the titles. I already have included, let's say, a layout that includes all of the elements, meaning I have the image of the specific title that takes from the, let's say, databases that I have it here, hard-coded it. So I have, let's say, 5 different titles, each one have its own details and its own pages. And I also have included hardcore icons for you to, you can find them here that the ID already have provided. And on the list item news, you find the images and the text for each element one by one until we reach 5. Then, and I will still continue to present it to you while it's still running. It just takes some time in the beginning, so don't worry about that. What we should keep in mind. So we have, I have changed some elements compared to the first part in here. So I have kept only the one that actually accesses the root and takes the main decision in the core, and then how it set up the content view in the for the main activity, for the main screen. And then based on that, I started adding my own list. What is a list view? If you have seen, for example, on Instagram, when you search for someone, you will see a list of people. Well, this is basically a list view. You have a list of elements that can, once you press them, also, so you can create an action over those actions, over those elements in the list. It will inflate another screen. And I'm creating this list view in which I can go next to the first two. I can show it. It will take some time, I see here. I can see the other elements listed one below, one on top of it, the other. And so we have the list views, and then we continue forward with the adapter. There are two main elements that you should keep in mind when you're working with elements manipulation, meaning you have the adapter, as it comes from the name, it adapts the data to what the view prints. So I'm sending the specific data to the adapter. The intent here is basically what is the intention of the specific activity to do and present. Oh, and it's already started. Amazing. So you can see here, it's better that I present it one by one. If I have the title, so this is the main activity, similar to what we have found in here. The one that it includes in this case, I have created a linear layout. Why? Because if it's linear, it's more flexible. Keep that in mind when you actually when you create these kind of elements, they have their own IDs. So if you call it wrongly, the app will crash because it will never identify. So I have the linear layout, which is more flexible, so I don't need to worry about where it is set it up. I don't need to hard code it, maybe the location, or maybe link it to some other elements. It's organized on the vertical. It has some padding. These are like predefined elements. You don't need to like memorize them. It's up to you however you want to change it at some point if you want. You can see that how it arranges it. Or if I want to do this, you can see that it switches multiple times. But we'll remain to 16. Now we have the text view. Text view, you can find it here. Actually, this is the title. You can see here that it's wrap content. There are two ways in which you can, let's say, present it in your view, the specific element. It's either wrap content or match parent, or maybe you can give your own pixel alignment, if I must say. It depends on what is the size and the type of sizes that you, types of categories of sizes that you use. Because, for example, if I would write in here match parent, and also happens for the other one, it will match, of course, the whole entire layout which it is linked to, but I just wanted the first part in the beginning. So I'm gonna keep it to wrap content, meaning I want something wrapped up, something smaller, and aligned with what I already have written here. So I don't know, I can change it to something, my newsfeed. It depends on. Okay. And I don't know, I can change here the size of it. It can be in different types. I will use the SP. If I want, I don't know, 50 SP, it will make it in more bigger dimension. If I want it to be bold, I can choose any text style. This can be found in the library, so it's up to you, can choose. And some margin bottom if it's the case. If we want to see, let's say, the rectangle around it. Okay, so I have the text view, which can be called with the title text, and it can be found in the main. And based on that, let me go back. I'm aligning one first component, but if I have, for example, the next element that I want to see, the list of the news, it's called list view. It has its own ID. Again, keep this format memorated and don't forget them, because based on that you can call the elements in the functions, in the activities. And in this case it will match the parent because I want the list to occupy the whole, let's say I want it to occupy the whole view, the whole screen. If, for example, I'm gonna wrap content it will rely on this one, but it will not, at some point it might change its elements because they're already predefined with these elements, with this size, but it's better that we rely with match parent to overload and overwrite when it is the case to go further with the list and not be constrained by the specific screen. Okay, So we have this one. And then we go back to the main activity. We have seen the title, we have seen the name, we have seen the images. The images just appear because they are already saved in the drawable. The drawable contains any picture type from the PNG to any other, like if you want to design it differently with different extensions, they can be added. So it is supported for any category. And you have an example here. Some of them are already provided, and I have created 5 of them. One of them repeats at some point. And based on that, the program will understand to take the elements from the title here, take the elements from the details here, and take the images. That's why when you already have showed them by using the list item with its own IDs, and you have presented them with the activity main, at some point you can also do, let's say, an on-click listener. The name actually is very suggestive, because when I press something, it will listen to the elements that I have fed to the program, and it will save them. And I can actually do, if we are programs, we can do also debugging, right? So of course, when I'm starting it, and for example, I want to press something, I'm pressing the first element, it will appear here, it will take the intention of what I'm supposed to do based on the click listener. It saves the information from the first screen, and you will see that actually it will appear to the second screen, but you need some explanations before we continue forward. Let me just explain to you what it contains. So I have the intention of it, I have the elements stocked based on the position. So I showed the first element, I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm pressing the first one, and it will take from the specific arrays in here. And I have saved everything. I will remember actually these elements that will go further to the next one. So in the intent, I have all of the elements, if I can see them here, from the packages that will deliver it to the next elements. 1 second, I'm not sure if yeah. So I have the title, I have the details, and it also has the image specific position that can be found in the memory. Why do I need that? Because we will advance further with the part when actually I'm pressing something on the title. I want to go to the next screen, which is actually the detail activity. And in the detail activity, it has it's another screen. So this was the first one. This is the second. For the second screen, we only rely on the elements that were given from the main activity. Meaning, I have sent this free, so this free will be sent on the next slide if you want to compare it with a presentation. So they have remembered those 3 key points from the past. I have received them, and then I want to print them, which I'm doing the setters. So also in Java, it's better to remember that 2 main types of functions that are used when it comes to classes are the getters and the setters. The one that get the information, which was, this part, sorry, and the setters, the one that set the information globally. We don't focus on the button. You'll see that actually it's useful later if I want to go back. But in this case, I just want to see how it works. Okay, so as I have told you, we have the main. We can press something in here. it's a listener. It's an activity that goes to the UI, if you remember from the presentation. It goes to the UI, has the logic behind, and then the device will understand in the back what it's supposed to do. And then for the list item news, sorry, no, here. For the activity one, if I want to see it more in detail, what it will print, here it is. And so as a short recap, we have, for example, this is the main one, the list, and then we continue to the activity detail. So again, we have the linear layout, which is better to set up as first and to be used in any case of any application you want to build. Again, it's more flexible. We will ignore this part and we will focus on the 3 elements that were given from the first activity. We have the image view with its own ID, a match parent. It's better that we have match parent with the linear layout, because if we do the wrap content, it will rely to something very small or inexistent. So at least for the width part, it's better that we keep for the entire width of the screen. The height can be changed in any other cases. I don't know, 300, let's say, if I wanted to make it more squareable. Then we have the text view for the title. That in this case, it's wrap content. It's better that we have it in a smaller size, and also the description. This one can also for the wrap content, it aligns with how many what the size will change depending on what text is present there. All right. We will ignore the button for now because it's just a small additional part at the end if you want to make it more fancy. So we have again the activity detail. What happens? The core was given the information in the back that at some point some other screen might appear. So we have the main one. Actually, I can put them something like that. You can see here that it encloses it. So don't have to worry, it's not included in the detail activity. The program understands in the beginning, okay, the main one is the key component that starts with, the other order will be given differently. And we will continue with the detail activity. The detail activity includes those 3 elements that were given in the past, these 3, and they will be set it up and presented on the screen. So let's do a debugging again. I'm not sure if okay, I stopped it. 1 second. And I'm doing here. And also so I will press, let's say, one of the key tiles on the screen. And 1 second, just let me charge my laptop. Okay, I'm back. Perfect. So let's continue forward. So I have started the debugging part, in which you will see actually how the information is stored and how it will continue forward. So it's already put at the part when I'm doing the on-time click listener. So I started the first, and here it stopped. And when I continue to the other elements of how they were stocked in the meantime, once I set them up, this the title will include actually the elements that were given from the back screen, the detail again, and also the image that has it was set up at the value 0 at first, but then it was modified right after I'm doing the, let's say, it will tell me which image I have chosen. And I'm not sure if yeah, it should write it here. Yeah, the position of it. Okay, and if I'm taking this out, you can see here that it created another screen. How it was also created by using the adapter. The adapter was the one that actually was circulating the information also from the list views. The one that actually was taking the information and moving from one point to another. The one, as I told you, the one that adapts the data on the back. And based on that, I am moving to the next screen, which is the next screen, which is the one in detail for each element. And I will just do another test with this one, such that you can see that actually it switches. It's not hard coded, and it can take it dynamically. And in other cases, there is also the back button, which is the most important part to go back and also reset the information that was provided. Basically, we have, let me go back to the specific. Okay. So we have here, you can find it here. So here is the image, we have the title, we have the details, but here, or maybe it can be moved anywhere else, depending on how you want to choose its alignment. This is constrained to the specific parent, so not yet, but it can be moved. We have the button. The button which is has its own ID, of course, in order to manipulate it inside the code. It's wrapped to this one and aligned to the elements. And this one will actually be very important once it is pressed. It has a specific part in the detail activity. It's called, yeah, I have named it the back button. Means when I'm pressing it, I'm finishing the screen and I'm going back to the main one. I'm going back in the beginning. But I also have some elements to check for any other errors that might appear. It can appear also for you once you create specific functions that can be null cancelers or throwing checkers to catch the error and not destroy the whole app. And in the end, sorry, I taking, of course, the element. You can find them in the resource here by ID. And I can use its own functionality because the back button can have also different functionalities. You can find here. You can set some text on it if you want to change it, or maybe do something on the listener, animate something, do a game, or clear something if you want to erase a text. It's up to you. And based on that, you do the on-click listener, which basically the view in which I am. You can see here that the ID already provides the information or what you can write in the specific function and what are the members that you're supposed to fill with. And then you have the view that will go to finish. Finish, it's a specific function that ends. It kills or erases the whole screen. And it will go back in the main one, which was established here in the manifest. And if it goes back, it will go again to the list. So you can see here, if I read you, for example, the debugging. I'm going here. At some point I have, oh, sorry. Something happened in the back. Yeah, we're gonna like run it again. So as I'm pressing it, the back will go back to, will go right away with the back button for the click listener, and it will go straight up to the main activity where it started, and then it will go all over again for each list, each element parent in the list, in order to send the information to the next one. And yeah, basically this is kind of everything that you're supposed to know about Android. These are hard-coded elements in the list, or let's say the details or anything. You can add any element that you think it could look better, maybe some bubbles or anything to press on, or some sliders if you want to add more. A slider also appears by itself once you increase the number of elements in the list, such that when you draw, when you slide it down by just touching the screen, it will do it by itself. And what is more? Let me think. Again, here, if you want to create multiple screens, you can just add them for the activity and create your own classes. Again, they will operate as Java classes. So it's really easier to implement. And if you want to go more hardcore, you can do advanced ways in Kotlin. But I totally recommend that you start basic, structured, and also trust the idea that it will help you, like any other ID that can be of this structure. As more, I think, let me go back. Just trust the entire process, and anything that you think of coding, creating a different app, what you can create even your own calculator if you want for the computer, for your phone, and they can be accessed for different databases, but they're more advanced. Maybe once you start focusing on the more, it's better that you focus on the basic parts, basic and simple. And yes, that's it.